Player Unknown's Battlegrounds overseas park office settled its lawsuit against the Chinese tech giant NetEase. According to a recent court order sponsored by the MacArthur law firm, PUBG Corp first took NetEase to court back in April 2018 and accused the Chinese company of replicating audio-visual elements from Battlegrounds in its mobile games Knives Out and Rules of Survival. The studio claimed NetEase had committed unlawful, unfair, and non-fraudulent business acts by copying PUBG's Battlegrounds game in each version of their Rules of Survival and Knives Out games, and highlighted the alleged infringements in the side-by-side comparisons included below. The Chinese outfit countered by claiming PUBG Corp could not be allowed to monopolize the entire Battle Royale genre, and said the company's lawsuit was a shameless attempt to abuse copyright law. After that spout of legal archaeology, however, both companies have just settled and are currently in the process of dismissing the lawsuit. It's a development that means we might never know the specific details surrounding the case, but upcoming changes to both Knives Out and Rules of Survival might indicate how NetEase managed to placate PUBG Corp. This is an interview conducted on THEGAME Devon Chainmud podcast. DD 2019 is in a month, and it's a time for many indie developers to network and pitch their games to investors. Rebecca Saltzman is one channel FOF Finji, which makes and publishes indie games. She has a decade of experience listening to and making pitches and is gracious enough to share her insight with us. She helps answers all the common questions an indie developer may have and all the doors and do not as when meeting with prospective investors. Can you introduce yourself to our readers? My name is Becca Saltzman, and I am one half of Indie, so I do all the business development, basically, including the business contracts, legal finances, marketing, and a bunch of design work. Finji is an independent developer, and also a micro publisher. We released Night in the Woods 2 years ago, and now we are launching Overland and Wilma's Warehouse this year, and we have Tunic coming sometime in the future. Atom, and I have been doing this for a decade now. In a former life, I did PR around media relations, going to publishers, investors. I am doing a talk at DD about pitching, and the title is, like, very clickbaity, which is, so you are ready to pitch to a publisher. You are not. I do not mean that in a super snarky way. I mean that, with 2 years of mentoring experience, the recent years of my life have been walking teams through pitching. Pitching is a much bigger thing, and I will get to that, but it starts with your game, and the game itself cannot be divorced out of that pitch. If you have a short-form story game, I cannot tell you to go on the pitch that for hundreds of thousands of dollars to these various people. That's not a viable business plan, because investors want to make money. Consoles want to sell copies. You always have to think, what is the goal between you making the game and the person you are talking to? Where is the overlap? And that's the thing you are pitching, the overlap. Anything outside of that does not matter in the relationship at that exact point. If you take a project like Night in the Woods, and just think about the 3 consoles, the pitch for each one of those consoles is different based on the overlap. PlayStation is a pretty easy pitch for Night in the Woods. It's a teenage game about feelings that looks beautiful on that school. I know Scott would die if he heard me. Night in the Woods looks very cool. It looks very hipster, even though none of the characters in it are actually hipsters, but it felt, even at the very beginning, a very obvious fit for PlayStation. But it's a much harder fit for X, just based purely on the demographic. If you go to an E3 for X, It's an hour and a half of machine gun fire. They have got a corner on a market and pitching night in the woods to X was a very different experience, because our overlap is different. Pitching into Nintendo was even more different, because at that point, the Switch was just coming out. Who are the early adopters, and what kinds of games are they looking for? How do they use the medium? How does their fanbase use the internet? Those are the things you think about when you are preparing a pitch, and that's just for consoles. When you get to an investor, that's a whole different items of things that you are actually thinking about. But the main thing is, what is the overlap on the relationship, and what are you both trying to gain? If you tailor it towards that, you are usually heading in the right direction. We have this as a Venn diagram, which is true things about your game and lies. Then the middle are interesting things about your game that are lies. The middle is the only piece you ever talk to the public about. Bigger publishers get it way worse, because somebody will come up and pitch their game with 30 minutes of law. That's boring trash. I have law for Overland, but I do not tell anybody, because that's 100% from the exterior, just boring trash. In something like a pitch, what to focus on? The questions you should ask yourself is, why are we making it? What were the influences at the beginning? What are the feelings we are trying to generate out of the players? How do I want them to play? What ways can I get them to interact with others as they play either locally on a couch or over Twitch? Those are the things if you are talking just about to anyone. That's the thing that helps them share your content. If it's a confidential pitch document, I am looking at like 5 pages of what essentially looks like a magazine spread on like a keynote, something that I have burned off to a PDF. That changes compared to the types of enthusiasm or excitement I get on a show floor. What to expect at DD? What you want at DD is your game's version of a vertical slice. You want to give the person that you are showing the game to a complete playthrough experience in 7 to 30 minutes. Basically a demo, and you want it to be as polished as you can make it, without hurting yourself. So that changes depending on the genre. Something like Overland, we call it a gameplay slice, because it does not matter what the art looks like. What matters is that the actions that you are doing in the game feel just as good as if the art was polished, because that's a strategy game. It's a lot different. But if I showed up with a not complete night in the woods vertical slice, why are there pink boxes floating around? This is awful. I cannot figure out what's going on. Because you need the context of everything that you see. So your vertical slice or your gameplay slice needs to be complete, and you should be able to do it in a 7 to 30 minute playthrough. For Night in the Woods first demo, you have a really long conversation with the mom, but as soon as you got out you had a fight with the old guy. Overland can sometimes take 7 to 15 minutes because do you need to get them into a position where they have a close call where they escape something that should have killed them. Then Tunic is even more different, where you can run and swim you fart around and whack some bad guys. Put cute animations on it, and the demo is done. The fox is amazing, because you understand it's a character with a shard, so much tuning on. As long as your combat feels good, that's the important thing for Tunic. The combat is realistic and the animation is whimsical and people are impressed with that, and then the art is the frosting on the cupcake. If you are talking to me, I got 30 minutes, and I need to be able to see it as fast as possible, because I got something going on 15 minutes. After our 30 minutes is up, finding that sweet spot, I guarantee you as a dev team, you are probably not going to find it. You need to bring friends over. You need to sit down. You need to have them talk to you while they play. You need to listen when they tell you, this is not fun. This is opaque. I cannot figure out what's going on. The way is really tricky. The buttons feel sticky. If you are going to take a game with gamepad controls and you have platformer or something, try to make that one level feel really good. Because imagine trying to play Super Meat Boy or something like a demo level and the controls suck. It would just be so frustrating. You just die over and over and over again. That is a reasonable ask, because it could even be just one celestial level. That could be a vertical slice, or you the two screens wide, and the controls feel amazing. That way somebody who understands games, a publishing may be able to say, there's something here. We could dig this out. What are they planning on doing? Then the publisher would ask for more info. Things to impress investors right away. One is to focus on the art style. I do not mean that in kind of a weird way, but what's special about the art style and what makes it different.